A busy night in Baton Rouge. Police investigating a series of shootings, even bringing out Air One to search for a suspect.
Up all night, U.S. senators with a late night on Capitol Hill rejecting the latest measure to do away with Obamacare. President Trump not happy with the decision.
Just a day away from that cold front we've been talking about this week. The details for your Friday and the weekend coming up.
Now, from WBRZ News 2, this is Tune In.
It's 5 a.m. Good morning, South Louisiana. We're glad you could tune in on this Friday, July 28th. I'm John Pastor.
Good morning. I'm Kylie Dix, along with Josh. Ashley has the morning off, and it's funny that we call it a cool front because it's really like cooler
it's
front.
It's a low humidity front.
There we go. We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Temperatures are not going to drop much, but we will feel some drier air for the second half of the weekend. We'll talk about those temperatures through the morning.
Okay, thank you, Josh.
Now to breaking news this morning out of the Gus Young area of Baton Rouge.
The search for a suspected shooter now over. This comes after a reported shooting in the area that forced police to set up a large perimeter for about an hour and a half, even calling out Air One to help in the search. Tune in's Michael Vizito is near the scene this morning with more. Michael, good morning. So what's the latest? What are investigators telling you?
Kylie, there have been very few details released at this point in time, but what we do know is that, according to sources, a Baton Rouge police officer witnessed the shooting and had to chase down a truck after a short search. Like you mentioned a little bit ago, they searched about an hour, hour and a half. They found the suspect underneath a vehicle. Again, we have not heard many details from the Baton Rouge Police Department, but we are still awaiting those details. As soon as we get those, we'll relay those straight to you here on Tune In. Back to you.
Michael Vizino reporting. Thank you. Breaking overnight, a bizarre scene near Baton Rouge Police headquarters that ended with a person being loaded up in an ambulance.
Yeah, according to a witness, someone drove a box truck through these barricades at BRPD, then hit a pedestrian trying to leave. It appears it all started when someone reportedly stole the truck from a gas station near North Foster. Now, this all played out just after 1 this morning. No word if anyone was arrested in the case. Also overnight, a man shot on McClellan Drive near Hollywood. The victim was transported to a local hospital after he was possibly carjacked. Now, this shooting happened just after midnight. And just after 11 last night, police responded to a shooting on 68th Street. Police say the victim was a juvenile. He's expected to survive. No word yet on a possible shooter.
And breaking overnight in Washington, a measure to repeal parts of the Affordable Care Act rejected. 3 Republican senators voted against the skinny repeal bill during a late night on Capitol Hill, including Senator John McCain. The legislation would have repealed major keys in Obamacare, including the individual and employer mandates and a temporary repeal of the medical device tax. President Trump not happy with the outcome, tweeting overnight, 3 Republicans, 48 Democrats let the American people down on health care.
All right, all week long, we've been talking about a cold front coming into the area, and Kylie and JP kind of pointed out at the desk. The big point to remember, this is not going to drop temperatures that much. It's still summer, still going to be hot, but we are going to feel lower humidity. It's kind of like a dew point front. It's going to take the dew points down, the humidity down, and we'll notice that after some strong storms move through the area on Saturday, lowering those temperatures maybe by 2 or 3 degrees. That's not a big difference, but the dent in humidity is something we will feel as we move into Sunday and Monday. This morning, tomorrow morning, you'll really be looking forward to that front when you step outside because it's a muggy beginning in Port Allen. 76 degrees with a mostly cloudy sky, and we can see that there are some clouds streaming across the area early today. Looks like a low deck one that should mix out through the morning hours. Just a little pocket of cloud cover in the mid-levels right now, and certainly not one that's going to produce any rain. Looks like another mostly dry day across the Baton Rouge area. Will be a hot and a humid day. The feel-like temperature going to be into the 100s for several hours, beginning at about lunchtime and lasting all the way into the early evening hours. Our high today right around 94 degrees with a peak heat index or feel-like temperature of about 104 or 105. There is the forecast high. We've got 94 in the Baton Rouge area. Shreveport going to try for triple digits today, 98 degrees in Monroe. That's weather. Let's check traffic for you. And the interstate system this morning is not revealing any problems on the traffic tracker. 10 and 12 have green all the way into the Baton Rouge area. Let's go to the cameras and see if we can confirm that for you. You'll notice in the top left corner of your screen there, the approach to the bridge looks pretty good, and I-12 out at Sherwood Forest in the bottom left is fine as well. More traffic and weather in 10 minutes, and now JP and Kylie have more news.
Sounds good, Josh. Thank you very much. Well, there's a warning this morning from East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff after a rash of vehicle burglaries in Baton Rouge.
Sheriff Sid Gotro said the number is high, which has forced him to put out a PSA.
So far this year, the Sheriff's Office has responded to more than 1,000 vehicle burglaries.
It's been a significant hike in recent months. Lots of home surveillance cameras capturing the action. Items like computers, cash, and lots of guns have been taken from vehicles. The recent hike has homeowners not taking chances, as mentioned in previous News 2 reports.
And I'm just worried that someone's going to get hurt from this.
Tell you what, I'm serious. If he keeps it up, somebody's going to wind up shooting him.
Law enforcement vehicles parked at officers' homes also being targeted. Just a few weeks ago, an 18-year-old was arrested for stealing ballistic vests from a deputy's vehicle. The sheriff says all of this can be avoided.
What happens, these burglars go through a subdivision or go through a apartment complex, and they're pulling doors. And if that door was unlocked, they're going to go through your vehicle. Do what you have to not to become a victim. Leave your car locked and don't leave your valuables in your vehicle.
The sheriff says people should stay aware and report what they see. People in Gonzales are looking for this man who robbed the Regions Bank at the corner of Airline and Weber City Road during lunch hour yesterday. Police say the man handed the teller a note demanding all the cash from her drawer. It's unclear how much he got away with. An accused rapist faces serious charges after deputies say his accuser recorded him confessing. They say 17-year-old Zuriel Pedico attacked a classmate during an after-prom party. According to arrest records, the teen attacked the same girl twice in one night. The girl recorded a conversation between the two after the first incident, and that's how investigators were able to hear his voice as he was apologizing to the girl.
Controversial comments made at this week's Metro Council meeting have the mayor of Baton Rouge distancing herself from a former member of her advisory board. During Wednesday's public comments, crime activist Silky Slim told council members justice came after Alton Sterling's death when a gunman opened fire on law enforcement, killing 3 and injuring 3 others. Silky Slim, whose real name is Arthur Reed, told News 2 his comments were misinterpreted, but the mayor says he went too far.
Does not represent what I want to see moving forward in the city. My decision was very clear in the statement that I made. And that statement was that this is not the way that I want this city to move forward.
Do you condone what Gavin Long did?
Of course not, never. I mean, for me to do that would mean that I would actually have to stop my mission of Stop the Killing, because I do not condone the killing of anyone. That's the hardest thing that I've had to sit up with and look over last night with the people that were saying the things on social media.
Well, the police union also released a statement on Silky's comments. It's posted at our website, WBRZ.com. City officials have taken the first steps in finding a new police chief for Baton Rouge. The Baton Rouge Municipal Fire and Police Civil Service Board opened up testing for the opening at the request of the mayor. Candidates can start applying on Monday. That process will last until August 29th. After that, an exam will be scheduled for all the potential chiefs. Carl Dabadie announced his retirement this week.
In other news, legal action moving forward in Livingston Parish over the August 2016 flood. Last night, Denham Springs and Walker attorneys met to discuss their flood lawsuit against the Department of Transportation. Leaders in the two cities say an I-12 median acted as a barrier and contributed to widespread flood damage in the northern part of the parish.
I think that this is absolutely something that could have been avoided if the private contractors would have done what they should have done. And they knew or should have known that if you put up a 4.5 to 6 foot wall without proper drainage, then it's going to flood the areas to the north.
The case currently sits in federal court, but attorneys are trying to get it moved back to the state level. So it'll come on this Friday how the ride malfunction in Ohio that killed 1 and injured several others is now affecting state fairs across the country, including right here in Louisiana. We talked to State Fire Marshal Butch Browning about safety.
Plus, President Trump honoring those who saved lives a month ago in Virginia. The officers who stopped the shooter at baseball practice received the Medal of Valor. What Congressman Steve Scalise has to say about that, also coming up. But right now it is 5:09 on this TGIF, 77 degrees outside. Hey, don't go anywhere. Tune in, just getting started.
77-degree temperature in the capital city this morning. It's a really muggy start, and we might see even warmer temperatures tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised if tonight some locations fail to leave the 80s just ahead of an approaching cold front. It's normal for the morning temperatures to be higher just before a front passes. And we have that humidity spiking as well with dew points in the middle 70s. So we're firmly into that oppressive category. We're going to see that arrow on the scale here slide down in the next 36 to 48 hours. While we might call it sticky still, the dew point in the mid 60s relative to where we are, probably won't feel all that sticky. It'll be nice, a little bit of relief for us here in the middle of summer. Here's a look at the cloud cover early today. A little pocket of clouds stretching from Hattiesburg southwestward into the Baton Rouge area. They get thicker in the northern part of the state and into central Arkansas. That is where our cold front is currently positioned. We'll be dropping to the south through today, arriving here tomorrow. And you can see on the radar scope, no showers or thunderstorms out there this morning and shouldn't be through your Friday. Time to pull out our 13 parishes and 3 counties now and see how temperatures respond to a lot of sunshine this afternoon. Low to mid 90s once again. Today, that humidity a little bit higher than yesterday. So this afternoon, feel like temperatures should spend a much longer time over 100 degrees. So hydrate if you're going to be planning to do anything outside today after work, or if you have the day off and plan to use it outdoors. Certainly water is going to be your friend. Overnight tonight, there's the model showing what I mentioned. Look at that, 79 tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock in Baton Rouge, Denham Springs, Gonzales, St. Gabriel, closer to the coast, Pierre Part, Morgan City may stay right around 80 degrees. In the 3-day forecast, we've got 94 today, 89 tomorrow with showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon hours. Some of those could be strong. And then Sunday, finally, the payoff. A little less humid, high temperature of 89 degrees. Cooler temperatures as we get into Monday morning. We'll show that in the 7-day forecast in a few minutes. Now I want to take a look at traffic with you, and we'll notice on the tracker right now we don't see any major issues. Looks like we have the green light around the city. Let's go to the cameras. I'll step out of the way so we can take a look. And you notice in the top left corner of the screen there, I-10 at Nicholson is flowing fine over the bridge, and I-12 at Sherwood Forest, bottom left, looks good as well. 1012 merges in the top right corner of your screen. Looks awfully dark. For some reason, the street lights have been off there for the last morning or two. We'll keep an eye on that, but it's not causing a problem right now. JP, Kylie, back to you.
Thank you, Josh. More on our overnight breaking news out of Washington. A final vote to repeal Obamacare failed.
Yeah, 3 Republicans crossed party lines and voted no on the so-called skinny repeal, including Arizona Senator John McCain. New this morning, Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy responding to the Senate vote. In a statement released after the failed vote, Cassidy said, quote, "Families struggling under Obamacare need help. Doing nothing is not an option."
ABC's Emily Rao has more on the vote and what's next.
A long night in the Senate, a delayed vote, and no shortage of drama. All eyes on Maverick John McCain, who returned to Washington to take part in the healthcare debate despite his aggressive brain cancer diagnosis.
Clerk will call the roll.
The vote began at 1:24 a.m. and minutes later, McCain showing no lack of stamina, raising his arm and then lowering the boom on the Republicans' signature promise.
No.
The dramatic moment eliciting cheers from the Democrats. Along with McCain, Republican Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski also voting no, making the final tally 49 to 51.
This is, clearly a disappointing moment.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell acknowledging defeat, Republicans reeling from the significant loss and broken campaign promise. Ted Cruz telling CNN,
"It's the working men and women who were left behind tonight."
Vice President Mike Pence working the floor for hours, but in the end, no need for his tie-breaking vote, and both sides agreeing it's time to move forward.
It's time to move on.
It's time to turn the page.
President Trump weighing in online, tweeting, 3 Republicans and 48 Democrats let the American people down. As I said from the beginning, let Obamacare implode, then deal. Watch. Senator McCain released a statement revealing more about his decision to vote no, saying the Affordable Care Act was rammed through Congress on a strict party line basis and that Republicans shouldn't make the same mistake that caused Obamacare's collapse. Emily Rao, ABC News, Washington.
In a follow-up, investigators in Ohio are still trying to figure out what went wrong during a fair ride 2 days ago. The seats of the Fireball came off, sending riders flying. An 18-year-old died and several others were badly injured. Inspection records and state officials say the ride had been checked several times and a state permit was issued on Wednesday, the fair's opening day. And we're still just a few months away from the State Fair season in Louisiana, but State Fire Marshal Butch Browning says there will be an increased focus on safety following the ride malfunction in Ohio.
We take every ride event very seriously because we know just one mistake could cause tragedy. And one of the things that we've done the last few years is we're actually going to these ride events after hours, you know, on weekends to actually watch these operators operate. And when we see an operator not following instructions, not properly belting someone in, we can now take action and write them summonses, write them fines. We couldn't do that before.
Browning said Louisiana has 2 older versions of the Fireball ride. In the coming months, crews will carefully inspect all rides before they open to the public. iPod, iGone. Apple making some big changes in its products.
And what actor has the perfect face?
I don't know.
Hey, I got a haircut just for this intro.
Oh, it's okay. Almost perfect.
ABC's Kenneth and Diane have all the answers and all the details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, say so long to the Nano and Shuffle.
Apple is discontinuing the 2 iPod models, both introduced a dozen years ago. The only iPods left now are 2 versions of the Touch.
It's a sign of the times. Most people who listen to music on a mobile device use their phone. Well, Tesla is set to roll out its long-awaited Model 3 today.
The 4-door sedan, starting at $35,000, is half the price of Tesla's previous models. And the electric car company is banking on the Model 3, hoping to sell 5 times as many cars by next year. Finally, it's confirmed. George Clooney has the world's most handsome face.
So that conclusion was made by a researcher using computer mapping technology.
Measurements of Clooney's facial features give him an almost perfect score using a formula developed by the ancient Greeks.
And Ryan Gosling had the perfect nose, apparently.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Good morning, meteorologist Josh Eachus with you, checking out the weather headlines. One more hot and humid day for now. We will be getting a short break over the weekend. The feel-like temperature today going to be over 100 degrees for several hours, likely lunchtime until about 6 or 7 tonight. Cold front will then bring widespread storms to the area on Saturday. Some of those could be strong, 1 or 2. Gusty wind, frequent lightning, of course, heavy rain like we see with storms this time of year. And then lower humidity will be felt Sunday and right on into Monday. That's about it, 2 days, and then we're going to get back to the normal feel for the time of year. Notice the dew point map this morning. Locally humid and all the way off to the north. Oppressive humidity stretching into Arkansas and Oklahoma. Just above the banner at the top of the screen here, you can see some drier air in parts of northern Missouri and Illinois. That's slowly going to be creeping to the south over the next 24 hours following that front into our area. And look at temperatures warm just ahead of the boundary, which is currently stretched from Indiana to northern Oklahoma. It's 81 in Little Rock early today. 84 in Dallas. We may have some morning temperatures in the 80s tomorrow. I'll show you the position of that front now with our surface map. At least it's on the scope now. More sign that it's coming in our direction. Showers and storms currently out ahead of it in central Arkansas. And we see some moisture near that front as well. That's going to help to get the showers and storms going. We'll start to saturate our air mass a little later today. Water vapor image shows that we still have a good pocket of dry air over the central Gulf Coast, though. Nothing's on satellite and radar right now as a result. Let's time things out with Futurecast, which shows a quiet afternoon here for this Friday, though it will be a hot one. Front's going to start to settle into the area overnight tonight. Some showers and storms possible as early as sunrise tomorrow. Scattered activity with us into the afternoon hours. 1 or 2 storm cells, maybe a little bit frisky, and then that front will settle in Sunday morning to the Gulf of Mexico. And when you wake up, go out to church or something like that in the morning, it's going to feel a lot less humid and likely stay that way through Sunday afternoon right on into Monday morning. And hey, that is a 69 you see on the board for Monday morning. We may get some locations in the upper 60s. This feels a little bit drier. Humidity starts to return by the middle of next week with pop-up showers and thunderstorms. That's weather. Let's go to traffic. And you'll notice on the traffic tracker, we're not showing any yellow or red. That means smooth sailing according to the monitor. Let's go ahead and check out the cameras, and that confirms what we just saw on the map. That's traffic and weather for now. I'll return at the bottom of the hour. Some more weather for you. And now JP and Kylie have more news.
Thanks, Josh. Here's a look at stories making headlines on this Friday.
Suspect is in police custody this morning after a search overnight. Police set up a perimeter in the Gus Young area of Baton Rouge between North Street and Gus Young, looking for a possible shooting suspect. Now we're awaiting information from the police department to reveal exactly what happened, but officers were in the area for about 2 hours before making an arrest. We'll have much more in this story as the information comes in.
That was just one of many calls police responded to overnight. Around 1 o'clock this morning, there was some activity at the police department headquarters off Airline Highway. According to one witness, a box truck crashed through a barricade at the police department, then hit a pedestrian on Goodwood Boulevard. The victim was taken to a hospital. It's unknown if an arrest was made, but the box truck was possibly stolen from a gas station. And 2 people are recovering this morning in Baton Rouge from injuries in separate shootings. Around 11 o'clock last night on 68th Avenue, EMS transported a juvenile to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the leg. No word on who shot him. About an hour later, a man was shot off McClelland Avenue after he was reportedly carjacked. He was also transported to the hospital. Both victims are expected to be okay.
And the big story this morning out of Washington, another failed attempt at getting rid of Obamacare. Senators voted late into the night on the skinny repeal. Legislation would have repealed major factors in the Affordable Care Act, but 3 Republican senators voted no on the measure, including Senator John McCain, who came back to Washington this week to vote after brain surgery. President Trump called the no votes letting the American people down. Well, still to come on this Friday morning with training camp underway. What are the Saints' chances of making it to the Super Bowl this year?
I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be a breeze. All right.
She got it.
5:27.
She did it.
We'll be back.
I like that.